Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Edina. I'm Sam Thompson and I'm proud to be your 66th president. We're coming to you on Zoom only today, and we had 64 people pre-register for Zoom, and it looks like we're already up to 77, so that's fantastic. Just a few things to remember on Zoom. Mute your audio during the presentation, please. You can rename yourself in the participants list as needed. Use the chat for questions and comments, and also we'd like to ask that guests put your name into chat, and if you can identify who you're here with, that would be great. And this meeting is being recorded. This will be the last meeting in 2020, and I think we're all ready for 2021 to be here. This is an important meeting today as we elect 9 new board members, one of which will be an officer. And they will be beginning a term of July 1st of 2021. So we're going to have 5 of our members fill club board leadership roles, and 3 of our members are going to fill foundation board positions. And then we also will have one of which will be an officer, which will be a secretary, which will be our future president in 2024. Having a strong board is the lifeblood of our club. There are so many benefits when joining our club, from networking to meetings with great speakers, to the opportunity to giving back to our community, to being a mentor or being a mentee. And I feel another important benefit is leadership development. And that can include joining our board. And when you do join our board, you end up stretching your intellectual muscles. You become closer friends with very interesting people. You learn to play nicely in the sandbox. And you learn how to run an effective meeting of people that don't work for you. You also appreciate assets equaling liabilities. You get to learn the numbers a bit. You enrich your resume, and you play a major role in growing our club. And I think a key benefit is that you fall even more in love with the Rotary Club of Edina. And this is my 6th year on the board. They've been 6 very memorable years. We have such a supportive and smart group of leaders that it's just really a great group to be part of. I want to thank the 9 members who will be joining our leadership team in 2021. I'd like to reach out to all of you to consider a future leadership role within our club. Serving on any board that is focused on making our community a better place to live is among the single biggest needs in our society. So I'm excited to vote in our new leaders, and in a few minutes, we'll be doing just that. Next, I'd like to go over our member update. First off, Susan Stiles. She was featured in the December issue of CEO Today, and she talks about portfolio management tips for 2021. You can see the website down below. It's ceotodaymagazine.com if you want to go on and read it. I read it. It's a great article. I didn't realize that Susan has such a strong background in the hospitality industry. She actually went to Cornell for hospitality management, and I ended up going to Stout for hospitality management. So we're going to have to share notes, Susan. Next, congratulations, Susan. Next, Bjorn and Ermelini Freudenthal celebrated their 15th wedding anniversary this past Saturday. So congratulations. That's great to see. What a great photo. And another member update, Jennifer Hendrickson. She actually got a new puppy this past week. On Black Friday, she acquired her dog. And it's a black lab terrier mix, and it's a rescue dog. It was with a foster mom, and the name is Luna. So congratulations to Jennifer. That's fantastic. And Rotary in the news. All the equipment now has been purchased and installed with the global grant that we were part of in Eastern Iowa. This is our club actually donated $3,400, and this is a reverse grant. So the international sponsors are from other countries, Brazil and India. And the total of this grant came in just under $200,000. And it's for dental and general health initiatives for underserved children and adults in Eastern Iowa. And so there are 8 Eastern Iowa clubs that were part of this. Our club was part of it, and the districts in Brazil and India. In this particular district in Iowa, we have done other projects. They've participated in projects that we've been part of, so that we've initiated. So that's really great to be part of this particular program. Okay, birthdays. We have 5 birthdays that'll take us through December. So happy birthday, everybody. And we have a lot of anniversaries, 2 pagefuls of anniversaries. So didn't realize we had so many people joining in December. So this is great. Arthur Rauner, 56 years, fantastic. So congratulations to everybody that is having an anniversary. And just a couple of things I want to point out before we bring on Jon. In January, we'll be starting our 3rd quarter, and we will continue to offer the $10 credit per meeting when you pre-register and participate in our Zoom meetings. And another thing I wanted to point out is Dan Hallberg said that they're full for bell ringers, which is fantastic. But if you want to be part of it, he's going to start a waiting list. So get a hold of Dan for the waiting list. So now, with that, if we can call up Jon to do the invocation pledge in the 4-way test.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, creator of all that is, we pause to give thanks for the opportunity to gather as Rotarians to be your hands and feet in service to those close by and around the world. We thank you for the leadership of this Rotary Club, for the continuing efforts that Sam, our entire board, and Becky do to keep us moving forward in service and friendship to others. Thank you for those who have agreed to serve our club in leadership roles in the future for their heart for service for others. We ask for your gift of wisdom and continued blessings on our leadership and entire membership. In your name we pray. Amen. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth?
Truth.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And our pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you, Jon. Okay, guest intros. Sandra Krebsbach, would you like to come on?
Hi, welcome everyone. Really happy to introduce our guests. And we have 4 guests from the Minnesota Passport, Passport Rotarians from Minnesota. We have Gloria, is it Howard? Gloria, can you wave? We have Patrice White, who's from Dallas, who we met just before. Hi, Patrice. We have Greg Carlson, who is from North Dakota, and he works for North Dakota University System and is based in Bismarck. And we have Cecile Somerville. And Cecile, I'm going to assume you are from Minnesota. I see Doug Johnson is waving. Are you with Passport or you're waving to them? And then we have a guest of Don Hutchison, who is Michael Caine, and he has the Michael Caine Fitness business. And Don wants to say he's the best. He's in a class of his own, and he's also a great guy. Did I miss any guests? You're all welcome. We're glad to see you.
Great, nice job, Sandra. Welcome guests. Okay, next we'll go to Josh Sprague, past president and nomination chair.
Hey everyone, as past president of our club, it's my honor and privilege to chair this year's nominating committee, which is comprised of the 5 current officers, President Sam Thompson, President-elect Michael Stanzak, Treasurer Joe Hayes, Secretary Shelley Loberg, and myself as past president, along with 2 additional immediate past presidents, John Flynn, president for the 2018-19 Rotary year, and Sana Sato, president for the 2017-18 Rotary year. Generally, the nominating process runs from September through late November, when we are creating and refining the candidate pool through discussions with our committee chairs for the nominated positions, with our fellow nominating committee members, and of course, with the candidates themselves. This year, we have an extremely talented, engaged, and diverse pool of nominees. And here they are. On the club side, serving 2-year terms from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2023, we nominate Andre Brewer for Youth Services Director, Katie Campbell for Public Image Director, Catherine Gump for the Rotary Foundation Director, Mike Martini for Club Service Administration Director, and Ryan Wilson for Community Service Grants Director. On the foundation side, also serving 2-year terms from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2023, we nominate Kelly Barnett for Past Community Service Grants Director to the Foundation Board, Jody Kern for At-Large Director, and myself, Josh Sprague, also for At-Large Director. And finally, the big moment we've all been waiting for, the next officer for the Rotary Club of Edina, who will serve a 5-year term from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2026, and who will serve as our 70th president for the 2024-25 Rotary year, we nominate the one and only Paul Peterson.
Yeah,
Hey!
Woo!
Now it's time for our official club-wide vote for our nominees. Can I ask that everyone please take yourself off mute now so that we can hear your voice during the voting process?
Okay.
Let's give everyone about 15 seconds, and I appreciate that. In the interim, can I get a motion to approve this year's slate of nominees for the positions and terms I presented?
So moved.
Dan
Second,
Hallberg, thank
Yes.
you. And the second was from,
Jennifer Bennerotte.
and a second from Jennifer Bennerotte, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to all our board members elect, and please remember that your club officers and fellow board members are here to support you in any way we can as you prepare to fulfill your obligations. Thank you again for the honor of chairing this committee.
Okay, I'm going to mute all again. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks,
And the
Josh.
next speaker will be Robb. And Robb, you're going to have to unmute yourself because I muted you.
I'm there,
Oh, you're there.
Sam. Thank you. Yes. Thank
Oh,
you so
super.
much. Good to see
Yes.
everybody. This is my first time to nominate board members. It was fun. So good experience. But yeah, hey, I'm excited to be here to tell you guys about the leadership development series that we have coming up again next Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Our very own Terry Moore, a fellow Rotarian, attorney, author, and radio talk show host is going to be our speaker. Terry's a very accomplished person. He's also a friend, and when he and I first met, he used the term "unwind the spaghetti." That was one of the things that he was really good at, and so I'm just so pleased to be able to have him come and talk about solving complicated problems. Problem solving is such an important soft skill, and I have a special surprise. Terry is actually on with us, so I'm going to give him just my last 45 seconds here to just give a little tease to what he's going to share with us next Tuesday evening at 6. Terry, are you there? You'll have
I am, Rob. How are you? Thanks. Appreciate your 45 seconds. I'm going to take issue with problem solving being a soft skill. I think it's one of the most tangible things we do. But I'm going to talk for a little while on Tuesday night about my 3-step process for solving problems, which is to clarify with precision, to control by predicting and mind reading. And then number 3 is to close with power. And I'm honored to have the opportunity. So, and by the way, it's good to be back at a meeting after a while.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Terry. I hope everybody will take some time, and then don't forget to invite your peers, invite your employees, invite anybody that you think could benefit from this important leadership topic. Thank you so much, Sam.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Next, we have Gene Morrison, holiday giving.
Okay. Ho, ho, ho. I kind of like the idea of learning how to read minds. I've been trying to read Jon Barnett's mind for how many years, John? 25 maybe? Okay, so I've got a quote for you by Ira Byock. We are at our best when we serve others. This has been a tough year in so many ways. But if you are safety insecure or housing insecure, it is even worse. So what we're going to do this year, again, is support Cornerstone, and we're going to support 66 West. Maybe behind me, you can start to see some of the gifts that have been put by my front door. We've got all kinds of stuff already. I'm going to need to add, I only have one garage. I'm going to need to add another garage. So, but it is crunch time. I only have 1 week. This is our last meeting, and I have next week, and then I need to go shopping starting Friday through the weekend to get these gifts and gift cards to these 2 organizations. So think about how you want to give. It's a unique year. So you push the button on your barker to donate through credit card. You can send a check to me at my home made out to me, or the Edina Foundation, Rotary Foundation. You can drop boxes off at my house. I got, I think, about 3 or 4 from Costco, as tall as I am, yesterday. So would love that, but it's our time to give and help these folks find some joy at a really tough time. So, ho, ho, ho.
Very good. Thank you, Gene.
Oh, 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 oh.
Next, we have Susan Johnson.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the holiday party. And as you all know, with COVID, the environment that we're operating in, this year's holiday party will be virtual, but we do have a real treat for you. The Peterson family trio will perform live from their living room on Thursday, December 17th, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And what you need to do is you need to just go and register. There's a link in the barker this week. And when you do that, Paul has generously provided a gift of a link to his latest digital Christmas album. And then he'll also take song requests at that time. So grab your favorite cocktail, join us. There's no cost to members for attending this wonderful concert. Register today. And now we have a special message from Paul.
Hey, my Rotary brothers and sisters, don't forget to mark your schedule. December 17th, we're going to have a virtual holiday party. Make sure you sign up, and the Petersons are going to give you a little entertainment. Aren't we, you guys?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you then.
May all your Christmases be wise.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Looks great. Okay, we're ready for our program now, and I will be introducing Gene Morrison, who will be introducing our speaker. And one thing I want to mention before we start the program is when we go to Q&A, what we'd like you to do is what we did last week and put your questions into the chat room. And then Ryan Wilson, who's my co-host, he will then read the questions off to our speaker. So Gene Morrison is president of Morrison and Associates, a human resource management consulting firm serving the human resource management needs of businesses and organizations for over 30 years. Gene is an executive coach, consultant, and facilitator. She coaches executives, managers, and key individual contributors in developing the thinking behind the doing that constitute the most effective leadership in their organizations. In addition, Jean is a founding partner of Resolve, a consulting firm providing conflict management and professional training and development services. Jean has been an adjunct instructor at the University of Minnesota for 28 years in areas of conflict management, communication, and human resource management. Jean is a certified mediator through the Minneapolis Mediation Program and a mentor at the Metropolitan Economic Development Association and Minneapolis Public Schools. Jean is one of 31 women from around the world featured in a book released in 2009, Women as Healers, Voices of Vibrancy, about gifted professionals doing extraordinary things to make the world a better place. With Rotary, Jean has been a Rotary Exchange student to France. She's been part of the RARE Committee. She's been part of Helping Hands, and she has chaired Camp E. And she also was part of the startup committee that started up Thanksgiving baskets, and she always is dressed as a turkey. She's been doing that for 25 years. So, Jean, you are on.
Okay, you guys are in for a treat. I am here to introduce a very close friend, longtime friend, and someone who's on my list of the people I admire the most. When I think of David Magy, I think of two things. I think of search, I'll tell you about that, and I think of service. So let me talk to you about search. As a business owner or an executive or a leader, what is one of the most important decisions you make is who to hire. Right person, right seat. So David has been in the search business, in the HR business for many, many years. He understands getting the right key people in the right jobs for the right company, like nobody else. He's got a sixth sense about that. He's got a process about that, but also he's got an intuition. And of all the folks in the search business, he's the one I think of first. He started his firm, co-founded of Abeln, Magy, and Underberg in 1996. And they recruit key talent within a wide variety of companies, businesses, nonprofits, family, manufacturing, medical. He understands people at work. So yes, he's a search guy, but he also understands organizational dynamics, the importance of human capital. And today you're in for a treat to get his big picture, long ball thinking about what is happening in our world and our work world as it relates to our current situation. So David, I think of search, and then I think of David around service. So we are all service-oriented people here. That's why we joined Rotary. David too has service deep in his heart. Some of the things that he is passionate about, one is disaster relief. He's been to New Orleans, Texas, the Midwest, Iowa, with his family, rolls up his sleeves, does whatever he needs to help out. Disaster relief, a passion. The other passion for him is safety and security of people and organizations. He is a guy, like so many in this club, who give countless hours to his faith community, to the community in general. He serves, has served before COVID, low-income elderly in North Minneapolis. There is so much about David that I admire. I'm thrilled that you're going to have a chance to hear him today. He gave me a test. Those of you that have been to Camp Enterprise know that we do a little warm-up called 2 Truths and a Lie. So I'm going to read you these 3, and you just think about which of these is the lie about David. He's a demolition derby driver. He's a needle pointer. He's a black belt in karate. So he gave me this test and he said, which one do you think is the lie? And I had to think really long and hard about, I don't know, because he's a pretty creative person. And I guessed that he was not a black belt in karate. So the truth is all 3 of these are true about David. So let me introduce David Magy, my good friend.
Jean, thank you. Thank you so much, Jean. Truly honored to be here. I want to thank Don Hutchison, Sam Thompson, everybody for including me today. Jean, I love that intro. Of course, I gave you a lot of it. So no, wonderful. Thank you. And Jean is a long-term friend of mine. I'm just honored to be here. I'm going to do share screen. So allow me to get technology going. Don helped me name this presentation. I'm not going to lie. 100% accurate predictions for 2021 and beyond. I'm hoping I can get close to 100% accurate predictions. We'll do everything we can to get as close as possible. My whole career has been matching people and jobs, and that's what I do sort of by day. I'm an ex-HR guy, headed up staffing for Pillsbury back in the day, ran a career transition company working with people who are in transition, and now run a retained executive search firm. My hobbies, though, besides being an ex-demolition derby driver and a black belt in karate, is I do scan everyday economic data. I look for data. I look for, people call me a data junkie. I'm reading multiple newspapers every day and multiple announcements I get about the economy. I'm also a trend watcher, and so like to see what's going on. We are going to cover a lot of information today. We're going to cover it quickly. The PowerPoint I can get you if you just email me at david@abelnmagy.com, or Don will have it, or Sam will have it. But more than happy to share some of the information. I want to talk about terms. I want to talk about the fact that this is getting something, and I'm going to call it the pandemic. And then I want to talk quickly about labor and the economy in terms of trends. We're not going to cover all of these terms, but these are terms that you probably need to know right now because it is indeed 2020. There are 4 that I want to mention to you. One is called ghosting, and we are seeing the term ghosting, which is actually a dating term, come into fruition in December in a huge way. Ghosting is where you stop communicating with someone all of a sudden. So if you're dating someone, and you're no longer interested in that person, you stop communications. Well, I can tell you we are seeing that with candidates and business associates right now who are just saying, please 2020, let's end and let's talk again in 2021. People just don't want to communicate anymore this year. We are getting tired. Phubbing. Phubbing is actually a term that means phone snubbing. And this is becoming more and more common as we get more and more Zoom tired. We don't put our picture up anymore. We just put our name up or some cute picture. We're not using the video. And that way we can be on our phone or we can be doing something else. The term is actually called phubbing. A zert, column 2. A zert is a Zoom shirt. Apparel companies are going crazy selling blouses and shirts, but they are not selling pants anymore because no one is wearing pants anymore. They're wearing sweatpants and gym shorts, but they're wearing nice shirts and sport coats. I can tell you that I am dressed appropriately today with jeans on and a sport coat, but I have my zert on, my dress shirt designed for Zoom. And then finally, another term you need to know is actually ROR. And that's return on relationships. And we're seeing more and more businesses, especially during the pandemic, spend time actually calculating the importance of a relationship and trying to put some quality and quantity behind what sort of return we're getting on each and every relationship. If you want the entire list of terms, again, email me, Sam or Don, and we will send you the entire answer key. March 16th was the last day I had coworkers in my office. There are just 6 of us in the company. But March 16th, when I put that date on this slide, I got really tired. We are Zoom tired. We are COVID tired. We're tired of wearing masks, yet we need to keep wearing them. We hope the end is in sight, and we keep talking about returning to normal, but we really don't know what normal is anymore because normal is going to be somewhat different. We used to work from home as a reward. In fact, when I was placing executives, directors, VPs, and people in the C-suite, they'd say, are we ever able to work from home? Does the company ever allow that? That was considered a reward and something we just strive for. And once you got to know a company, they'd say, sure, if you need to work from home a day a week, it's not a big deal. That used to be considered the gold standard. Now we are home, not as a reward, but almost as a punishment. It's a punishment because we have this pandemic going on. And when we got home, we went, oh my God, I don't have the bandwidth for my kids to be at school, my partner, spouse, whatever, to be working as well. I don't have the clothing to be on Zoom every day. And I need to do math homework with my 10-year-old while she is on, classroom and doesn't understand how to do basic algebra. And by the way, I don't know how to do basic algebra, so this is going to be an interesting problem while I'm trying to work. We're working from home and trying to collaborate, and we think we're with people, but we're not really sure. If you're on Zoom, it's very difficult to talk over someone. You can certainly try the chat. You can't really have a sidebar conversation, and it's sort of rude to get up and go get a cup of coffee because people know you've left. So we are, looking at this working from home thing going, okay, we wished for it, maybe not. Zoom. Zoom is so interesting. We are judged typically 60% based on our physical appearance. And here we are on a screen, whatever size your screen is. And I got to tell you, Zoom is here to stay. Yet the technology for Zoom is still in its infancy. The problems with Zoom are really interesting. You're always visible, no matter what. And you need to think like an engineer, which means you need to build a platform under your computer so that your camera lens is staring at you in the eye, because talking to the camera lens is eye contact now. So you actually have to build up. If your computer is sitting on a table and it's looking up, I'm seeing your light fixture and I'm seeing up your nose. That is not necessarily what you want. Your background. I was on a virtual happy hour with a colleague, and her husband walked by in gym shorts and a t-shirt, and that was fine. I've met him before. It was not a big deal, but you need to know what is in your background. Then many of us use a virtual background, and while they are fun, that is the weakest part of Zoom. That part of technology is the weakest as it is, and if you move back and forth with a virtual background, we lose your ears, we lose parts of your face, and if we talk with our hands, we lose some of your fingers, and we need to be very careful as to which fingers we are about to lose. So please be very, very careful. I can tell you that a lot of people are doing what Joe Smith, the picture on the bottom right of the slide, is doing, just putting their name up. I was on a meeting, Zoom meeting through University of St. Thomas. There were 49 attendees. The program was on employee well-being during COVID. Only 8 people had their cameras on. That sort of tells you about employee well-being. I have surveyed all of my clients and said, do you want people back? Do you want people in the office? What should we do? And it's really been interesting. There's a real difference between our large clients and our small clients in terms of what they want to do. Our large clients are trying to figure out when they will bring people back. It was originally going to be January, then they were saying May, it's moved to June. Now they're not sure. Our small employers are saying, get people back to the office as quickly as possible. We want people here. But location is a problem. Downtown is a major issue because of social unrest. A lot of people don't feel comfortable going downtown or getting into downtown. If you're in a tower downtown, you have a different problem. I have a son-in-law that works for Target Corporation, and there are 37 floors in the downtown Target office with 5,000 employees. You have a social distancing issue when you walk into one of their 10 outside doors to get into the building to go to the elevators. How do you get 5,000 people up and down to 37 different floors? It is virtually impossible. The other part in terms of location is anywhere. We're allowing people to work anywhere, yet we want people to come back to the office. It's a different issue. The word promotions is the last word on this particular slide. I asked all of my clients, I surveyed them and said, if you have 2 employees, one works in the office, one does not. You have one position that they're both eligible to be promoted to. Who gets the promotion? And with one exception, they all said the person who comes into the office. It was very, very interesting. But they want to see people, and there's such value people get from that social interaction and those hallway conversations. I want to abruptly change topics and really get into the economy and trends we're seeing, and then of course open it up for questions. I follow the conference board on a daily basis to see what is going on in terms of employment trends and economic trends across the globe. This announcement came out early this week on the 7th, so on Monday. And it is the 7th month in a row that the Employment Trends Index has gone up, that we are seeing increasing employment. And this is looking out a few months. But what's important to know is this has been increasing by decreasing amounts. So 7 months ago, it went way up. 6 months ago, it went way up. This past month, while it improved, employment trends are slowing down because COVID is getting worse. And people are very, very concerned as a result about the first quarter. The report, though, is still positive. We are down over 10% from last year, however. The Conference Board puts out something called the Leading Economic Index. This is also looking out 3 to 6 months. Their last announcement came out on the 19th of November. The next one comes out next week. It also is doing the exact same thing. It's increasing at decreasing amounts. That should tell us something. We consumers control 2/3 of the economy. And consumer confidence is basically staying pretty flat. It declined a bit in November, not a great deal, but it's staying pretty flat. We are getting very nervous as consumers. Now, there will be improvement as we move into 2021, I will tell you that, and there are two reasons for it. One, the vaccine will be approved. We will start seeing that come out next week. Number two, this is Minnesota, we will get outside starting in April. So you are going to start see people's moods improving as the winter comes to an end. Unemployment. When I took labor economics at the University of Minnesota, Walter Heller, the economic advisor to John F. Kennedy, was my instructor. This was in the late 70s, by the way, when I took this class. And he said that full employment was considered 3 to 5% unemployment. You needed to have some unemployment. During the Obama administration, full employment was considered 4 to 6%. If you take a look at the Twin Cities, the most recent number that came out was the October number. They haven't put out the November number yet, 4.2%. That's also the same unemployment for people that are degreed, that are 25 and older, that have a college degree. So interestingly, unemployment is relatively positive right now. The big numbers, though, that we hear about are driven, interestingly, by two things. One is temporary layoffs. A lot of people are on the sidelines, still counted in some ways in the number, but they're waiting for their employers to bring them back. The other positive news within these numbers, and it's not on any report, you have to dig into the data, is that people are still proactively quitting their jobs because they know they can find another one quickly. That's a really interesting trend, and usually the trend of a very, very positive economy. I mentioned employment trends, and I want to talk about hot industries. This is a list of websites that I use all the time to find lists of where businesses are going to be going in the near future. And I got to tell you, these are some really fun lists. Wunderman Thompson is the old J. Walter Thompson marketing and branding agency. And they put out a list every year of the trends and change to watch for 2020. And I have to tell you, it's been really interesting to watch their report. Now, this report came out in January. They came out with a 2.0 that I'll talk about in just a moment. They talk about the businesses that are growing, and I think you will find these interesting. Under brands and marketing, they talk about the gaming industry. Now, parents have been rebelling against the gaming industry for months and months and years. However, with COVID and home education, gaming has become popular and accepted, and parents are encouraging their kids to learn new things online. So from a brands and marketing standpoint, those game influencers are gaining in popularity. But the opposite of that is also true within that brands and marketing. One of the trends we're seeing, and we're seeing a lot of, especially during the pandemic, is back to analog. People are looking for novelty and simplicity. People are having bonfires. People were buying backyard pools. People were investing in swing sets like they'd never done before. In fact, there is a shortage of all three of those categories. You cannot find a fire pit, a swing set, or an outdoor pool to save your life. These all were bought because they are simple things that families can do. Under retail, the anti-excess world is really coming out, and the nonprofits, Goodwill, et cetera, have done incredibly well because we have cleaned out our house. We have gotten rid of furniture, we've gotten rid of books, we've gotten rid of clothing. Secondhand shops with high quality merchandise should be, by 2022, representing $43 billion in revenue. This information, by the way, is available for free on the Wunderman Thompson, J. Walter Thompson, but Wunderman Thompson website. Well, the pandemic hit, and Wunderman Thompson came out with a second list, and that's the 2.0. And it's really interesting what came out. The first item was optimistic futures. Brands that are saying, let's be positive. The world is just in a bad place right now. So brands that are doing things to make you feel better are really on the rise. In fact, there is a YouTube channel I encourage you to check out called Some Good News. That's the entire name, Some Good News. It has gone crazy in terms of people watching. Unconventional brand actions. You have 90% of people right now saying, I will buy things from companies that make things that also donate to a cause. So we aren't just buying shoes anymore. We're not just buying certain brands of food anymore. We are finding the companies that are saying, if you buy from us, we will make a donation. And those brands are going crazy at this time, crazy in a very, very positive way. Anti-excess consumerism, we sort of talked about that. That's the bottom of column 1. However, what that means is if you do buy something, you want it to last forever. We are not buying things to get rid of them any longer. And finally, the new superstore, top of the column before we get into the new trends. The new superstore is a restaurant that says, for me to survive, I am going to sell you the ingredients to make our signature meal. We are going to do things very, very differently so that we will survive and come out the other end of this. Now, 5 completely new trends, and I just want to mention 2. One is the new language of advertising. Alcohol brands used to advertise people in bars celebrating. Now they're advertising Zoom happy hours and families getting together and toasting something. Very, very different. So those advertising agencies and brands are doing well. And then my personal favorite is renewed faith. It's really interesting. Since the pandemic, people have started downloading spiritual documents. They have started joining brick and mortar churches, synagogues, and mosques in record numbers and are zooming into services. People are all of a sudden praying. And there's some really interesting statistics that I found relating to this in terms of faith. 15% of those who say they seldom or never pray, as well as 24% of those who say they do not belong to any religion, have all of a sudden been praying. And Pray Incorporated, Google that one, has had a huge increase in the number of people listening in on their spiritual messages. Very, very interesting stuff. There are additional lists, but I know we're at 1:20 and I want to open it up for questions. On this list, these are smart business ideas for 2020 and 2019. FBA is fulfillment by Amazon, and Markets on Wheels is not just food trucks, but any industry that can come to you. Pet grooming, delivery services, so on and so forth. Those Markets on Wheels are going crazy. And finally, yes, this is from 2014, J. Walter Thompson put out a list of trends that will impact us forever, multiple years. The age of impatience means we are online trying to do things more quickly, but we are raging against the machine. Pandemic has showed us that we want to be not connected and just spend times with our immediate circle. With that, let me open it up to questions.
And Ryan, do you have any questions that came through chat?
Well, I don't see any questions yet. I do see a very lively discussion on the value of Rotary-themed Zubas. So feel free to check that out as you're, entering in your questions. So while we wait on that, I'm going to start off with my own quick comment and question for you. So I was talking to a colleague of mine recently, and she was telling me about an interview that she sat through with someone that was applying for our company. And this individual they met on Zoom, and he decided to join the meeting wearing just a white tank top. So I guess that means he must have found a really good buy one, get one deal on his professional pants, but maybe they were sold out of Zerts at the time. That being said, do you think that with the changes that we've seen in how we communicate and what we wear in professional settings, do you think in 2021 and beyond, when we come back to more in-person meetings, will we see a more permanent shift towards a casual environment?
I truly believe that we will. That is a great question. I can tell you that in every Zoom meeting I have had, and in the few and far between, but few real life meetings I have had, it has been declared that dress code is casual. I put on a sport coat that I keep in my office at this point, but I have not worn a tie since early March. And my clients are all saying we just don't need to be doing that anymore. I think you will see dress codes where people are really dressed up for only special occasions, maybe that annual meeting, but beyond that, I think we've realized that we can do things differently. So I do believe we are going to be a bit more casual. The tank top, though, seems to be over the top, and I have multiple questions on that.
I imagine I won't be wearing a tank top into the bank anytime soon.
I would suggest.
Okay, so next question for you. This is from the speaker committee. So hardly anyone thinks downtown Minneapolis will recover quickly. Hopefully it does recover, though. If that's true, what about the Edina, St. Louis Park, Minnetonka, Bloomington, and other nearby first, second ring suburbs? What should Edina be doing to get ready for the economic recovery?
That is a great question. My wife and I, when George Floyd was murdered, had an interesting discussion about would we go downtown. We live in Plymouth. We enjoy going downtown to the theater. We like restaurants. We go to baseball games. And our answer was a hard no. That going downtown in the foreseeable future was not going to be something we are comfortable with. I am into safety and security. I take that very, very seriously. You can read into that what you want. That said, that means I also don't go into unsafe situations. I think Edina and the other suburbs, first ring and second ring suburbs, have an interesting opportunity. I office in Wayzata, in a very boring office building that is inundated with requests for office space from people leaving people leaving downtown Minneapolis, not leaving Edina. People want to get out of downtown. And so I think there's an opportunity to do two things. Both are opportunistic, but I have to mention them. One is to really talk about the availability of office and the pro-business community that you have. The other is to talk about the safe environment that you have. And while, again, that is very, very opportunistic, if you just take a look at the national news this morning, as well as the local news, Minneapolis made the news again, and not in a good way. They cut funding from the Minneapolis Police Department. And while they were playing some shenanigans about number of officers, there's a problem. I think Edina and the other suburbs can really capitalize on a pro-business environment and a safe environment for coming here for restaurants, for theater, for outdoor concerts, for the Edina Art Fair, this is the place to be.
It looks like we have time for one more question here. So I'm going to go with a question from Mike Callis. Are there industries that will go away or be radically different because of the pandemic? Maybe travel or hospitality?
That's a great question. One of the really interesting things that will never come back fully are some of the huge venues that we used to have thousands of people at, because in all honesty, you're going to have people questioning the safety of that for the next few years, even with the vaccine. One of the real interesting growth industries is, believe it or not, isolation travel, where people are traveling on their own, or they're going out into a much more wilderness, out in the middle of nowhere type of environment where they can commune with nature, hike, fish, camp, do whatever they want to do and be safe. And you are seeing an entire construction industry building survival condos that you can rent out. But the cruise industry is going to take years and years and years to come back. And I think a lot of the large venue industries are going to have trouble coming back for a while as well.
Okay, well, thank you, David. Ann, you're up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, David. What an interesting presentation today. I loved your sharing of the new word dictionary. I was familiar with some, but there was some I certainly wasn't. And our chat room blew up on the dessert comments. So thank you for sharing that with us. I was also thought it was quite interesting, the fact of the employees' perspectives that they can quit and quickly find a job. I'm kind of surprised that that's still the mentality that we have. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, your perspective, and I hope your crystal ball is correct in some of these things. From literacy and peace to water and health, Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million problem solvers who unite to take action to create lasting change to better our world. In honor of your presentation today, we will make a donation to Every Meal, formerly known as the Sheraton Story, an organization focused on providing weekend and other food gap programs to over 10,000 children in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Again, thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful holiday and stay safe.
Very good. Okay, well, looking ahead, we have our leadership series next Tuesday, the Peterson family trio next Thursday. The bell ringing didn't get on this list, but it should have. So bell ringing has multiple dates in December. I want to thank everybody for attending on Zoom today. Thank you, David. Thank you, all of the guests. Nice to have you with us. I want to leave you with a quote. I do not know the word quit. Either I never did or I have abolished it. Susan Butcher, Sled Dog Racer. With that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We'll see you hopefully next week with our 2 meetings, and meeting adjourned.